Hi, everybody. I'm Carmel Brown, founder and director of the Proven Group. You're joining us today on the Online Prosperity Show. Thank you so much for being here. Today, you're going to learn all the secrets and why you should be building your business from the inside out, and what it will mean not only for yourself, your people, but also to your customers and clients, and how HR is like having insurance, because without it, it can cost you a lot of money, but with it, we can help you, guide you along the way through any challenges or workplace issues that you may be facing, together with all the other questions that you have about being a business owner, and talking about why you started your business. And it probably wasn't for the reasons because you wanted to manage people, learn legislation, or deal with difficult behaviour. That's what we do. So we'd love to help you succeed in building your business from the inside out. So thanks again for joining us.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Online Prosperity Show, your premium destination where entrepreneurs and professionals uncover the transformative strategies to elevate your business and your life. I'm your host, Prosper Taruvinga, and today we're going to be diving into the art of cultivating teams and resilient businesses. Now, Carmel, how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic, Prosper. How are you?
Fantastic. I'm really excited for what we're about to jump into. I mean, I've been looking at your resume and everything else that comes along with it. It's so long and vast. Is it because you used to write resumes before?
Yes. I started writing resumes over 14 years ago. I do have a careers team now, but that's how the business began, from writing resumes from home.
Absolutely. Now, for those that are watching right now, I want you to imagine a world where managing your team doesn't feel like you're herding cats and compliance doesn't keep you up at night. And maybe your workplace culture, really propels success rather than hinders it. And if that sounds like a dream, well, you're in the right place today. Now, our guest today is Carmel Brown, the dynamic founder and director of the Proven Group. Now, Carmel is renowned for her ability to turn workplace chaos into harmony, and she's ensuring that businesses not only survive, but they thrive. And we've already established that she started her business by writing resumes. But Carmel, this journey actually started at a kitchen table when you were crafting resumes, and now you are the go-to expert in HR solutions across Victoria. And it is quite commendable. Congratulations on all the accolades, the books written, and everything else that comes along with it. Now, did you ever imagine that your dining area or your kitchen would actually be the launchpad for transforming countless workplaces when you were doing it?
No, not at all. No, it wasn't my vision back then. My vision was to be able to, those that are seeking a career, is to be able to get them in front of the employer. That was connection's a very big thing for me. So it was a matter of introducing employee, employer, and then to help in that realm. And it wasn't until, I suppose, you progress through your business from the resume then to recruitment, whereby every day, by writing for a lot of individuals, you would just meet so many candid people where you think, my gosh, you should have a job. I can see why you don't, because you can't even get in front of the hiring manager, but let me introduce you to someone I know. And that, once again, that connection piece was really important to me. And then when HR was born in the business, that's when employers started to ask me, the contracts, the position descriptions, and how to manage difficult behaviour. And I was already working, I know there's, you call it 24/7, but I think I was working 25/8, if there was any such a So, and that's when HR was born, bringing in more people into the business. So the CEO now, she was a business owner, as like a solopreneur herself, and I just pretty much said to her, I have got work, do you have capacity, and I'll pay you, do you want to join forces? And that's how HR was born. And from there, coupled with COVID, then that's the explosion of the business.
Absolutely, absolutely. See, talking about kitchen tables and COVID, my kitchen table was both a classroom, a restaurant, boardroom, and everything else that comes along with it, and it just all just starts to make sense. But one just doesn't wake up writing resumes. Where did this all stem from, or what was the actual roots of you then knowing how to craft these resumes and
Yeah. So it actually all began when my sister, she had her daughter and she was going back to work and she wasn't sure how to write a resume. So you think, oh, well, I'll just Google someone and see if they can help just be able to write one. And then, of course, couldn't find anybody. So we just started writing it together and thought, well, I wonder how many more people, whether they're return to work mums or anybody for that matter, I wonder how they know how to write their own resume. And that's how it all began. And it was sort of like, oh, and we were just, I suppose it become very natural to us, just being natural writers, and thought, imagine how many more people we could help if we could write more resumes. Because at the end of the day, a resume is a tool, and it's a tool that gets you to interview. So without that tool, you won't get to interview. So we always say, and still to this day, that our job is to get you to interview, and it's your job to get the job.
Right.
And that is actually how it all began. So it wasn't we just fell into it because, of what was needed. And that still continues, although like now there's 9 pillars in the business, and back 14 and a half years ago, that was the very first pillar. And it still continues to be a very strong part of the business. It's its own business within the business.
Absolutely. Now, is this sister claiming royalties for all the success and the accolades that then came after that, because it was through her that this was initiated?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, she was formerly a director and business partner as well, and life directed her on a different path. So she's enjoying doing what she's doing now, stepped out of the business. But I suppose back then it was pretty much the resumes and recruitment. And then from then, the other 7 pillars have been born just through my contacts. Then it became my vision then to actually build the business the way that we have.
Absolutely. Now, the proven group, from what I noticed, and you've got all these pillars, that really support a business. It really emphasizes building a stronger workforce from the inside out, from the understanding that I'm looking at. Now, can you maybe elaborate on what this means and what impact this has on the business?
Yeah, absolutely. The reason, and even when you say building workplaces from the inside out, I get goosebumps every time. Generally, I do, because where a lot of business owners can misunderstand or fail to understand is that a business, just like yourself, it needs to be built from the inside out. If you're trying to build it from the outside in other words, just bring in all the work, just bring in all the work, or just bring in all the people, or just keep hiring, it'll be right. That's where businesses come undone, because throwing more labour is what we call at a particular workload problem. It's a good problem to have, but sometimes it's not if you don't actually have the people to do the work. Throwing more labour at something will only it'll create more issues, challenges, because as we say, in an organisation, you will have a culture whether you choose it or not. So you might as well build and choose the one that you want. So if you're building from the inside out, work on your people, get the systems and your people internally set up, structured. Then from there, when they're in that I suppose then it becomes a space of being more connected and grounded. If you feel that within yourself as a leader, you will then connect with your team better. Then your team can connect with the customers. And the vision and mission and the values of an organisation need to be aligned with the individuals. Like as far as values, I could talk about that all day. Some companies don't have them. Some have them and they decided they'd make them up themselves 10 years ago. Now they've got a team of 20. So there's no buy-in. People don't know what the values are. But the values are part of being a part of that helps build a culture. They're actually also a performance management tool. And that's how you continuously manage your behaviour and your people and build the culture that you need. So building it from the inside out is where you start, not the outside in.
Absolutely, because so many people would usually say whenever there's an issue, just put people on it and then somebody will figure it out and then solve it. But that's just bringing in maybe people that haven't been proven, like, what your business actually said. Now, you've gone on and written your book, Less Headaches, Happier Team and More Success. And as you were emphasizing earlier on, you've actually, rewritten it for different industries and things of that nature. First of all, let's talk about the original one that you wrote. Who was this directed at, and what was the key takeaway that you wanted people to remember from this book?
Yeah, and it's interesting you asked me that question now because I nearly segued into it just before, so it's perfect timing. So I wrote Less Headaches, Happier Team, More Success during COVID. And I wrote it during that time because, so what's COVID? 5 years ago. So I was I'd been a business owner myself for 9 years, starting off, and then you go through everything that you go through. During COVID, there was a lot of business owners that were either on their own, or they're like, I don't even know what to do. I'm facing so many challenges. They felt very alone. There was enough going on in the world. So who do they actually ask? Apart from their accountant, it's like the accountants, they got asked more questions, or there's probably the same amount of questions of what we actually did. There's 10 chapters in that book. And that's why on the front cover of the book, it's the top 10 challenges that every business owner needs to learn to inspire and lead their people. The top 10 challenges that are in the book, every business owner faces them, whether you're a brand new business or whether you've been in a business for 20 years. Chapter 1 starts off with staff drive me crazy. So that is the tone that the book is written in. It's got 100 pages. The font is quite big. There's a section at the back where you can take notes, highlight it, draw on it. There's sections in there as well that have got good, if you do something well, this is a good example. If you do not do it this way, this is actually what can happen. That's a bad example. But sharing both sides of the coin, and at the end of each chapter, you've got key takeaways. So a long way to answer your question, but the reason I wrote it is because it was my way of giving back to the business community. That's why I wrote it. And I never wrote it to sell. I will never sell it. It's a giveaway. We post it. We're old-fashioned. It's a book that you actually turn pages. It gets posted with a pen, a coffee sachet, and a wrapped-up piece of slice. So sit there, enjoy it. I always hear about the pen and the pen and the slice and the coffee, and then they're like, I haven't read your book yet, but I've eaten everything else. So, and I have been asked, to be quite honest, will I ever make those, like the book, into an audio book? And I suppose the more time I'm being asked, I think that's a message that that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So I will make it into an audio book for those that prefer to listen rather than read.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's why I wrote the original book back in COVID.
Congratulations. And that book has now, had its own sisters and morphed into different versions and genres. You were calling it the Skittles pack.
Yeah, I call it the Skittles pack because each book does have a different colour. And the reason I republished each one of them was because we do a lot of work in the franchise space. So we work a lot with franchisors and franchisees around the country. And their colours are, like as far as the expo goes, that beautiful turquoise green. So that is the cover of that. My previous life, before I was a business owner, I was in pharmacy for 11 years. So pharmacy is very close to me. And the reason it was recovered for pharmacy in the gold and the blue, because they're the colours of the scripts, is because I say this as well, regardless of what business owner you are, whether you're a business owner, a franchise owner, a pharmacy owner, or an NDIS provider. Regardless of what business owner you are, no one, I know you should never use the word never, but I don't think I will ever meet a business owner that started their business because they wanted to learn legislation, they wanted to manage people, they wanted to deal with difficult behaviour. No one started their business to do that. That's why I republished the books and made it very specific to the reader. And my latest one I launched was for NDIS leaders, because we work a lot in the NDIS space. Like those guys, it's the most compassionate industry. Sometimes they even forget they actually are even a business owner. They worked somewhere, identified the gaps, wanted to start a business and look after participants and clients. They don't want to know about Shad's Award and how to pay their people and how to roster them. They don't even really want to be a business owner. They just want to do the right thing and look after people. So I get quite passionate about it, as you can probably tell, but that's why I republish the book, depending on the industry that we're working in. Although we work in all industries, there are some that are closer to my heart personally, than others, and especially in the allied health space.
Yeah, now, just using your methodology and your words, for everything else, you've literally gone inside these industries and you're helping them from the inside out, instead of anybody who's just saying, hey, you business owners, you know what I mean? So what really brought about this, this granular way? Because this is a lot of work to then go into industries and really wanting to, like what you're talking about, the NDIS, the exact problems that they're facing. Because when people feel heard and seen, they actually now assume that, hey, this is the actual solution that we've got.
And that puts a real fire in my belly to even be able to answer this question, because as the old saying goes, you don't know what you don't know. And that's in any industry, in any profession. That's why you call in experts. Right. So I will simply explain through our lens, through the HR lens and people and culture lens, that how we work is that if you look at your business as a vehicle, you would have heard of the term roadside assist. When you're driving your car, you might, run out of steam, run out of gas, or you don't know what's going on under the bonnet. You call roadside assist. With us, we are people assist. So when we work with businesses, the very first thing that we do is that we look under the hood. What have you got? What haven't you got? What you don't even know you're supposed to have? What's working well and what's not? From that, we present back to that business owner a plan. It's called a people plan. And I'll say to business owners, have you got a business plan? Oh, yeah, I've got that. Yeah. Got a marketing plan? Yeah. Got to put, things on social media. Have you got a budget or financial plan? Oh, yes, you've got to watch the pennies. Have you got a people plan? A what? Have you got a people success plan? I don't know what you're talking about. And that's when we say, allow us to introduce ourselves. From looking under the bonnet, if you present what's called a people success plan for the next 12 months, not that they need to be engaged with us for 12 months. We have we never lock a client in. We are all about where everybody wins. That is how I make decisions in the business every day, based on those 3 words that the whole team came up with, where everybody wins. So if someone wants to work with us for 12 months, great. If they don't, that's also great. But from that plan, they know then what they need to do in their business for their people success plan. In that plan, to finish off this answering your question, Prosper, in that plan, as you know, in our car, the business vehicle, it has 5 gears. The first 2 gears are compliance. So when we are looking under the hood, we need to know what gear you're in. Because if you've ticked all the boxes for all the compliance, great, we'll start with you in gear 3. And that's where we work on your people and your culture and your leaders and really working with the business from the inside out. So that is what we do.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, so many people come, because I'm in marketing, right? Everybody already comes with a shoebox full of whatever marketing receipts that they have, and they're like, hey, you figure it out. They also do that to their accountant, shoebox full of everything else. But when it comes to HR, I don't think a lot of people have a people plan like you have mentioned.
They don't.
And I think it was it Richard Branson? He said that our clients do not really come first. Employees come first.
They do.
If you take care of your employees, they'll actually take care of your clients. Now, Carmel, you'd understand that a lot of people just believe that HR is all about hiring and firing. What are some of the misconceptions about HR that you'd like to maybe debunk? Because from what you're saying, I don't think we've got a people plan, and now you've also caught me like a fish out of water.
Yeah. I know. I love it's probably because it's so simple and it's so clear and it makes so much sense. It's what I call a DER factor. There's a lot of DER factors. It's like, oh, of course we need a people plan. So the misconceptions of HR. When people know we do HR, they go, oh, so you do recruitment. Yes, we do, but people think HR is recruitment. Where it crosses over is that with HR, we help with employment contracts, position descriptions, how to onboard someone properly, set them up for success. HR as well is not all about compliance. Some people hear HR and think, oh, God. Sometimes it can remind them of like the accountant that they think of BAS and GST and all the compliance and, I don't want to deal with that. I just want to run my business. So if you get out of the first 2 gears, as I explained in the vehicle analogy, and get into gear 3rd, 4th and 5th, where 5th gear is all about how you strive to be that employer of choice, where people want to knock on the door and work for you, where you can step out of your business and let it run without you. Because as we say that retention is the new recruitment, if you can retain your people, you don't have to recruit. So that's where HR can be a misconception. It's not all the boring compliance. We call it, there's transactional, and that's not about money. That's just about the compliance. And then you've got transformational, and that's about your people. So there's 2 sides of the coin. And HR, the best way to picture what we do is that we are the link. First of all, we're the voice of the business, because there's the employee and employer. They tend to have this adversarial relationship, although they need each other. So we become the voice of the business because the business doesn't have a voice. But we are the link. So employee, employer, there's us. We link the people strategy to the business strategy. When they align, happy days. When they don't, people will continue to work with us.
Absolutely. So you literally fix things and work yourself out of a job then? Because absolutely.
We do. Yeah, you're exactly right. We will quite often work ourselves out of a job. And 2 things we love about that. Number 1, we know we've done our job properly.
Right.
And especially with organisations, like we love to work with organisations that have internal HR, because we can come in and then they pay for the expertise in the strategy of what we do. But on the other side, we work with a lot of organisations that they're not big enough to have HR, but they need HR. So we will work with them, get them all set up and then they keep growing, but they grow in a way that they've got a great culture. They will then employ their internal HR. We will train them, bring them up to speed, and then step away. But when we step away, that is when businesses of all sizes have the option to use what's called our phone a friend service. If they run into any problems or they've got an IR, industrial relations or workplace investigations, a fair work matter, pick up the phone. And we call it phone a friend is because we're not a call centre. Every one of our clients has their own HR strategist designated to them, who also has a team behind them. So you're not calling and telling the story every 5 minutes about what's happened and little Johnny and this and this and this. And they have their direct number in their back pocket, call anytime, ask the question and get the answer.
Absolutely. So it's not like Telstra when you call them up and you want to pay and then they ask you to prove that you are you. And I want to pay my bill. So if anybody's calling up to pay my bill, let them,
Yeah, that's right. Don't further identify them.
Just let them if they're in their own grace. But as you can understand, fish do not see the water that they swim in. Everybody, when they're working within a corporate or within their business, they think everything is A-okay. We're doing all right. But in your experience, what are some of the signs of a thriving workplace culture, and how can maybe businesses start cultivating that so that, they can see that what they're doing actually works? Because from what you're saying, ping pong tables and bean bags are not.
No. No, not at all. You can, apart from, obviously people getting along and there's no unfair, fair work, or there's no investigations, apart from the obvious that you can tell why and how you've got a really good culture, is that you will recognise the one percenters. It's called discretionary effort. You will have a team that turns up and they will work for the same amount of pay. They will do their job. They will do what is asked of them. They will get paid the same, but they will do that bit more and will not ask for any extra. They're the ones that have the passion and the drive, the ideas. They're ones where you've got, the emerging leaders, from a technical like floor position, hypothetically, and they want to emerge into a leader and then step up. And those that are great culture, as well as when you're looking after your team, there's team involvement, and involving your team instead of just having, for example, the CEO or the CFO making the decisions, bring the team in, ask them. That type of collaboration is how you build a good team, and trusting in them that they will look after the customer or the client. As you said before, and Richard Branson is exactly right, and a lot of businesses do, a lot more can, implement what he actually says. Look, the people do come first, then your customers. Look after your people, they will look after your customers every day of the week.
Now, obviously, you have had experience working with, established businesses. Like you say, they already probably have their teams all set up. They even have an HR department within that sort of business. But there's also that, that tradie or that small to medium business that only has them and maybe a few other people that actually are the technicians within the job. And some people usually are afraid of hiring and they'd rather do all the work themselves because compliance is actually seen as a very daunting task. Every time, you open the news, somebody has been used as a mop at the Fair Work offices, you know what I mean? Things like that. How do you simplify this for your clients?
We simplify it by, first of all, we speak in like layman's terms. We don't speak in jargon.
Right.
We speak to them on their level. There's no one higher than another. We're all experts in our own field. So hypothetically, you're talking about a tradie here and that client was an electrician. I don't know anything about what they do. They don't know anything about, when I say what we do, but not to be afraid of it. It's first and foremost is about building relationships. So we will build a relationship with our potential client. It's not transactional. It's not like, this is what you want done. Here's a proposal. Do you want to sign it? It's not about that. Clients that come and work with the Proven Group, every single one of them will meet me first. The reason they meet me first is because not every client's the right fit. We might not be the right fit for them. And on that, they might come to me with a problem, but after speaking with them with all my years of experience, quite often the problem is not the problem. It is a symptom to a problem. And by spending the time with them and unpacking what's going on, that first initial call is how you start to build the relationship and then the trust. Then from there, anything else then I say or introduce them to the other HR strategists is that we work with what they need. It's tailored to them. It's not like, oh, you've just started your business and now you want to put on an apprentice. This is what you do because this is what the other client did. It's not about that. It's just simplifying it, stepping them through the process, letting them know if they don't do it, what can happen, and if they do it really well and continue to work closely with us, before long, if he wants a second apprentice, we'll help with that as well. So we work as an external HR manager, like an accountant, I suppose. Yeah, and then we can work closely with them. Normally, initially, we work a lot more in the beginning. Then we can step back to what they need. But as I said before, it's that phone a friend is our is that connection, trusting piece where if they don't get in a fluff, they can just pick up the phone, talk to HR strategist and say, I've got something going on here. Step me through. What do I do? Because because if they know who to call, they're not going to try and figure it out themselves. They're not going to dig the hole deeper, and they're not going to lose their cool and say, this is your last day, see you later. Because then they'll end up with unfair dismissal and lots of things can happen. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And you keep referring to this phone a friend, type setup and things of that nature. Now, usually when people ring you up, it's probably because of some new legislation or some new change that they might just need you to walk through them. How do you yourself then stay updated and maybe adapt to this ever evolving landscape of HR and compliance?
Yeah, that's a great question because it is forever changing. And how we stay up to date is the HR strategists are always attending, whether it be webinars, the information that comes through from Fair Work, whether it be like a newsletter, the latest update. It is our job to know exactly the latest updates and to communicate it with all of our clients. So if somebody is a client of ours, whether they've heard of, for example, if there's a casual conversion legislation or a new domestic violence legislation, whatever it is, they will actually be told by us. And if they've got a system built in, like through us, let's call it a HRIS, which is a human resources information system. If we manage that system for them, everything is updated as soon as live time, I suppose. And we will always keep our clients up to date. And any new and upcoming clients, as well through, social media and posts, we'll let just people know in general about any updates. Because at the end of the day, if they don't know otherwise, it's like when, there's new legislation. I know I keep referring back to accounting, but we're very similar to an accountant, whereby their legislation is changing all the time. And it's so important that people are kept up to date. It's the same with people. And so email blasts, social media, and if it's very specific, then we will relate to that industry. So, for example, today is the 1st of July, and there are so many new updates. I won't go into detail on now, we need another day. But for the NDIS sector, for example, there are so many new updates and changes being brought in for those guys as of the 1st of July. So we're on top of those. And our NDIS clients, we communicate with them what and how and what is the best way to handle them, because it's pretty daunting.
See, this is where I really value, your service right there, because on a day like this, you literally would have been, with your clients, but you chose to spend your time on the Online Prosperity Show. So thank you so much for that. And for those that are watching right now, if you're watching this is your cue to actually subscribe to the Online Prosperity Show, because our guests will literally, give up the most important part of their jobs just so they can give you this type of information. Now, Carmel, you did mention that so many so many people, so many businesses don't go into business so that they learn compliance or have to deal with all these things that come along with dealing with people and legislation. Now, what role does leadership play in maybe shaping these team dynamics, and how do you say maybe leaders can improve in this area?
Yeah, leaders can improve in any area, first of all, when they realise what the difference between a leader and a manager is. When they know that the difference between who in the organisation is responsible for the vision of the organisation and the KPIs and the goals, and then who's responsible for getting, the team out of bed. And it's to keep everybody aligned with the vision. Like, everybody in every organisation, they need to understand why their role at any level, what they do every day, how does that impact the business to get to its goal? So if, for example, you picture a manufacturing organisation where you do have people that work on the ground, on the production line, and then you've got your team leaders, your supervisors, your managers, and then up the ladder it goes. The person turning up each day on the production line with 50 others on the production line, that person needs to understand what in their role and how them turning up, how does that affect where the business is going and the goal, not just today's goal, next year's goal, but the actual whole vision of the organisation. So that is up to the great leaders of an organisation to bring their people along with them. Don't just tell them what to do. And as a part of even the onboarding and the team meetings, involve them in and explain what you did today in getting that product out. This has now enabled us to get to, which affected this customer buy. And really involve them and bring them along. That is what a good leader and manager will do. It's a collaboration. It's not like you work on the production line and I sit up in my office. So that is what makes a good leader. And that is why, and even your new and emerging leaders, you get the heart and soul of those ones, for example, on the production line that want to become like a leader in that organisation. If they will bring their people along the way that they were brought along. So you might as well do it right. That's why leadership is so important.
It's got a knock-on effect, right? If you do, they also want to come up and help others do and have a happier existence. Now, with that being said, there is a level of self-awareness that needs to happen there, connecting those dots, because some leaders or some people want to keep people in a silo just in case if people get to know everything about the business, they might now be able to go out and start on their own and things of that nature. But from what you're saying, you are saying leaders should connect the dots or connect with their people so that they're also connected to the vision. Now, while I was looking you up, I noticed you've actually been dubbed Carmel the Connector. And I'm not sure if it's connecting people to their purpose, connecting people to their people, or it's your ability to connect people to everything else that comes along with it. How has this sort of influenced your approach to HR and actual team building?
Yeah. So are you referring to Carmel the Connector? Is that what you're referring to? Yeah. So connection for me, it's a big piece. It really is. Even going way back to the days when I said that even when I was writing resumes in the business and I was able to connect the potential candidate to the employer, I didn't realise back then why it filled my cup so much to be able to make those connections. I was just like, it was just cool. But as I've, I suppose, gone on through the business, anything to do with connection and connect is actually one of our values. So we have 4 values even in the proven group, and it's trust, connect, collaborate, and joy. And the reason I bring those up because joy, we never leave her out because everything we do, we actually have fun. Yeah. So getting back to your question about connect and connection is that if I started at a personal level, to be able to feel connected, even with myself, calm, centered, grounded, the connection there, I'm able to then better show up as my best self every day and connect with people, regardless whether it's my first meeting of the day or my last meeting of the day. To connect with people is the most important thing, and to show up for them like you do for everybody. You can do that whether it be through my morning walk in nature, that is connection. But if we get into the business side of things, if they can connect with themselves and know what's going on inside, you've got a so much bigger chance of connecting outward. So picture if you turn up and you've had not a good start to the day, you don't know why, I'm just tired and I'm grumpy, and the slightest thing that someone does that day, that's just going to annoy me. Whereas you just take a step back, apart from the fact, breathe. But if you have that connection with yourself and you go into it, you're not yourself. Yep, that's right, just ground. And you go into work, and then you can connect with the person that maybe would have otherwise really upset your day. You could have retaliated and upset them as well. But connection is all about self-awareness, not self-criticism. It's self-awareness. Therefore, you can connect. You can connect with others. And the piece about connection, I wasn't sure if you were going to bring this up, but I just might tap into it, is the piece about connection is I've just finished co-authoring a book with nearly 50 other authors, global. It's a global book, Voices of the 21st Century. And it's actually called Unstoppable Women Standing Strong. In that book, in that chapter that I've just completed, won't be published to February 2026, so stay tuned, it'll be on Amazon, is I talk all about connection and why it's so important, whether it's an individual, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a teammate. I talk in that chapter all about connection.
Absolutely, and it really aligns to your mission and things.
Oh, it does.
So congratulations on that part. Now, you would understand, Carmel, in Australia, I don't know if it happens anywhere else in the world, but there's this statement, she'll be all right, mate. Everything should be all right.
She'll be right.
We just kick the heels of our RM Williams and the whole day will be fine. Now, for businesses that are hesitant to maybe invest in HR or even take a look at something like that, what would you maybe say to them or convince them of the value of what the Proven Group can bring? And for those that are looking to connect, where can they go to start their journey, or how can they get started with the Proven
Group? Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to remember that there is actually a quote, but I can't quite remember, but it's something like if you think HR is expensive, see how expensive it is if you don't have it. It's like insurance. Yeah. HR is exactly like insurance. If you've got it, you're covered. If you don't, you're not. And with that she'd be right, mate, scenario, yes, that is a real Australian term, whether it's been on the football field, because you've even seen how much the rules have changed in sport, let alone how much the rules have changed in workplaces, that you got to be so careful. And even with neurodiversity, adult ADHD, identity, there is so much in a workplace now. But everybody has their strength, regardless of anything. So if you know your team and what your team's built of, use that strength of actually what's in your team. Because to get back to your question, if you don't, and you think, it should be just black or white, there's no grey in my business, then you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble, and you'll really wish you had HR insurance. And look, to be really quite honest, Prosper, what I love, what my mission is, and my life's purpose now as a business owner, is to get in front of as many business owners as I can, just to have a conversation, have a look under the hood. What gear are you in? What are you doing so well? Tick, green light. Be nice to have that. That's an amber light. We can get back to that. And where the red lights are, you really need to do something about it. But at least, and with the people plan, at least you know where you are and where you need to be. From that, we can assist or not. And if anybody does want to get in contact with me, they can via the website, which is www.theprovengroup.com.au. As a part of that as well, and by all means, order one of my books. I'd love to post it out. It's free of charge, nice gift box to your office, regardless of the industry you work in. On the back of every book, there's a QR code. Scan it. And you get 30 minutes with me. Bring your problems, bring them all. Bring every challenge that you have, and let's just talk about it and see where that goes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, Carmel, I can't thank you enough for what you've brought for us today, and especially knowing, what the opportunity cost of what is actually happening behind the scenes, knowing the time and the date it is today. But obviously, we already know you're part of a book that's been written in the future. But looking ahead, what's next for the Proven Group? Now that you brought us into your world, what should we be excited about or be on the lookout for, in terms of things that you're working on?
Yeah, absolutely. What we'll continue to work on is to continue to grow the team. The business is built on an associate model, so we are Australia-wide. We do have connections with the UK, so we do a lot of work internationally as HR consultants with the UK. But our vision and mission, as I said, it is really just to continue to even build our vehicle so we can further assist and diagnose other businesses as their vehicle, and just continue to be experts in our field, be placed in every corner of the country, which we already are, but strengthen those corners. And then even bring so much more professional development and training to businesses, especially on those topics that can be a little bit sensitive, whether it be conflict, neurodiversity, whatever it may be. But it's just to continue to strengthen what we do, because then the stronger we are, then the more we can show up for you. So then you can show up for your people and then know how to build your business from the inside out.
Oh, I love that. I love that. If you're watching this right now, you can attest to the fact that, when your car starts showing that check engine light, usually it's a warning sign to say this stuff is going to cost you. And if your business is also starting to showcase that people crack or, all of those things, it's time to definitely check out what the Proven Group can do and help you, because as you have seen, Carmel's journey really underscores the importance of adaptability, continuous learning, and the power of genuine connections, and her ability to just identify and address the root causes of workplace challenges. She's not going to be all right, mate. It really offers valuable lessons, for businesses aiming for sustainable success. Now, I can't thank you enough, Carmel, for the time that you spent with us today. Your life story and your experience and just the roots of it all, starting from that kitchen table to world domination now is just really, really remarkable and amazing. So thank you so much for gracing us with your presence on the Online Prosperity Show.
Thank you, Prosper, and I'm absolutely honoured to be here, and thank you for allowing me to share not only my story, but how we can help others write theirs and be really successful in what they do.
Absolutely, from the inside out. Okay, so for our listeners, if today's discussion really resonated with you, consider exploring Carmel's book, Less Headaches, Happier Team, and More Success. I've actually been on the website. All you got to do is put your details in there, and they will be sending you not an ebook, but a hard copy of the actual book. I had to make sure that that was what was happening, and it's available on the Proven Group's website. I will put all the links on there, and I encourage you to stay tuned for our next episode, where we're going to be diving into ideas that can help you pave way for a happier existence. And if you found value in today's conversation, I encourage you to share this with your leader. All right, you could be working within a business. Your leader might just need to know a few of these things, or grab the book that Carmel has written there. And I can't value enough what Carmel has shared with us. All the links to her website are going to be in the show notes. Now, take the first step towards a more harmonious workplace today, and everything happens from the inside out. Bye for now.